the two quarterbacks, Grogan and Avellini, getting ready for their roles in this second half. The Patriots will receive the kickoff to start the second half as the sun shining more brightly than ever today. Avellini only 2 completions, but 1 for a touchdown. Running down again the scores that you've just heard Brian and Mike recap. Miami is leading, so the Patriots looking for a win to keep themselves in a first-place tie in the AFC East. Tampa Bay is losing, so the Bears could pull within a game of first with a victory today. Bob Thomas hits it well. Alan Clark on the goal line. The rookie to the 5, the 15, the 25, 30, 35, and finally out of bounds around the 40-yard line. As Lenny Walderscheid, who has been sparkling all day on the kick special teams as a tackler, finally stopped Clark.
Walderscheid, see him right there, number 23 in the middle of your picture, bouncing off one block. Looking to the outside, that's Kostick trying to get him. Mosi Tutupu tries to get him. He makes a very big tackle. Alan Clark just runs with abandon. He's a wild man on the special teams.
5'10", 186 pounds. A tiger, as he is self-described on those kick returns. First down, and Grogan goes to the air. First play of the second half. Incomplete to Stanley Morgan at the 45. Virgil Livers there to bat it away. Livers, a story too. He's perhaps the smallest, or at least the shortest defensive back in the NFL at 5'8.5", but a mighty mouse, very strong and extremely fast.
Livers there just to tap it away at the last second. Just beautifully timed. You see Morgan get up. He said, hey, nice play. Great respect between professionals. You saw it going from Stanley Morgan.
Even though Fencing seemed to hit him just a little late, but was no intent. And Morgan recognized that. 2nd and 10. Up the middle, Cunningham. 41, 2-yard line he goes. Tackle made by Jerry Muckensturm, number 58.
One of the Bear players, it's number 45, Fensick, coming off. Looked like he might have pinched a nerve in his neck. Holding the side of his head off to gets a little treatment there as he walks to the sideline. Doesn't appear to be hurt badly. Yeah, there he is. He goes to the arm. The numbness. You can almost see that from up here. He reached to the arm.
You saw the score. Otis Anderson has scored on a 1-yard run for the Cardinals to give them a 2017 lead over the Eagles in the 4th quarter. 13 minutes left. 3rd and 5. Grogan down the middle. Complete to Francis at the 45, the 40, and he's all the way to the 33. The Patriots go to the big guy, tight end Russ Francis.
Russ Francis, one of the class receivers in all of football. Big tight end that can block for you, and then he can do this. He can get open, and he can catch the football. A tough ball to catch, low and away. Gets his hands on it, cushions it gently, and then takes off for the goal line. As Walderscheid making a saving tackle. Again, quick release to the outside, gets cleanly off the line. Linebacker's got to do a better job of keeping him on the line. Awfully tough to let him in that open end into the backfield.
First down play, it's Horace Ivory. Cuts back at the 30, and he's inside the 25. Near another first down. Ivory about 10 yards. With 11 and a half minutes remaining in the 4th quarter at Tampa Bay. Look at this one now. 28-7. New Orleans has scored 4 unanswered touchdowns. The last by Tony Galbraith, a 20-yard run. So it appears the Buccaneers are about to suffer their second loss after winning their first 5.
Big news, of course, to these Chicago Bears as they're locked up in the divisional race with the Tampa Bucs.
Of course, the other big upset today, Cincinnati leading Pittsburgh 27-3 late in the 3rd quarter. On first down, Calhoun gets about 5 yards as he slams up the middle. Muckensturm and Buffon make the stop.
Dick, over the last few weeks, New England has been a little listless, kind of a tentative football team. They've not played effectively, and throughout the year they've tended to start aggressively and then kind of slack off in the 3rd quarter. They've only scored 14 points in the 3rd quarter all year. They appear to be moving it pretty well here.
Indeed, and now have it 2nd and a long 4. Ivory inside the 15 and then bounce back. He's close to a first down. Ivory, the leading rusher for the Patriots, just under 40 yards on the afternoon. Short of the first down. Horace from the University of Oklahoma.
Big,
ankle in the
big
first
third
game.
down. Big third down play. 3rd and a yard. This is where a defense really has to buckle down. Grogan, of course, the kind of guy that'll even scare you on this kind of yardage. He's not afraid to throw that football.
Or bootleg it.
That's right, or bootleg it. He knows that if he goes back to pass, can't get the ball off, maybe he can run it and get it in for a first down.
3rd and 1. He is going to run or throw. Throws to Francis. First down at the 11-yard line. A solid tackle by Gary Campbell from the University of Colorado, number 59, but they only needed 1. They got 4.
Well, that puts the pressure on you defensively. When a quarterback is not afraid to throw the football on 3rd and short, he forces you to do different things than you like to do. You like to be able to put your whole team right up there on the inside. But when you have great receivers and you have great confidence in your arm, you do what Grogan did right there. Drives you crazy on defense.
Interesting, it was Campbell and Francis again saying aloha on their contact to Hawaiians. I know a lot of folks watching out there this morning in beautiful Hawaii. Sam Cunningham, little beauty there, except socks from about 3 different sides by Bear tacklers, a gain of about 3. And again, Gary Campbell in on the stop. Alan Page had a piece of the action.
Talking about Hawaii, Dick, I'm sure the calmative is flowing at Kapalua on a day like today, looking out over that bay toward the other islands.
Cunningham and Dwight Wheeler, 62, shaken up on that last play. Wheeler, of course, playing that left tackle spot, vacated when Leon Gray was traded to Houston.
Well, that puts them in a bind now. That sends Sam Adams back into the game. They didn't want to have to play Sam, put Pete Brock over on that left side. That means Pete will be playing the second position of the day.
34-3, the Bengals looking for their first win, leading Pittsburgh. We understand at one point the Steelers had fumbled 9 times and the Bengals had recovered 7 of the 9. 2nd and 7, Grogan right through the hands of Francis at the 3-yard line. Francis covered by 45 Fensick, back in the game. Gary Fensick, the rare note that he attended a class at Yale taught by Howard Cosell. I wondered, I was going to ask him what he learned, but I didn't dare ask.
Well, I'll tell you one thing we just learned is that sometimes that strong arm gets Grogan in trouble. He gunned that one, and a very difficult ball to handle. Francis still upset, felt he should have controlled that football.
Ball at the 8-yard line, 3rd down and 7. Good protection. Almost intercepted. Laying back was Fensick, and he knew where it might be going, toward Francis. A diving try, but couldn't come up with the intercept, and the Patriots bring on the field goal team.
Well, certainly you'd rather give up 3 than 7, although they're not going to concede to 3. Ball thrown right here. Is it to Francis or to Harold Jackson? I believe maybe to Jackson, as
You're
Francis
right.
is up in front. But Fensick timed it perfectly, read it nicely, and came across. You think he's angry that he didn't pull that ball in?
He's now will be on the probable list next week with bruised fists.
Yeah, right.
John Smith to try the short field goal. This is just a 25-yarder. It is off the upright. Good. A flag is down, and we may have roughing against the Bears, which could change the complexion.
Running into the kicker. Refused. Will penalize on the kickoff.
So they refuse it. They could have taken the penalty and had it down close to a possible touchdown. They take the sure 3 as Smith kisses it off the upright. They'll get the 15 yards on the ensuing kickoff. First and goal at the 4, New England.
New England wants a chance for 7. They don't want to take the short 3. They can't blame them, especially when they get the ball on the 4.
Let's see how it works out. Horace Ivory stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Oh, just a sea of black shirts smothering Ivory. Campbell and Plank and Hampton all in on the tackle and more.
Certainly have been impressed with the aggressive play of the Bear defense. They're a tough defensive team. They don't have the great standout defensive players that you would have on some other clubs, but you certainly have very aggressive and very consistent play across the line.
Now the Patriots gave up the 3. It's 14-7. Lost a yard on that one. 2nd and goal at the 5. Calhoun slips outside, and there are the Bears again. Number 24, Livers, makes the play.
How many times have we seen it, Dick? A player makes a mistake, gets penalized, comes back with a great play. You saw it right there. Back bounce to the outside, and Livers was right there. That's dangerous, a very dangerous play. Calhoun stopped here briefly to the inside, sees an opening to the outside, and breaks it away. If Livers does not make that tackle, Calhoun is faster than Blank. He might get it out all the way into the end zone.
They lost 4 yards, and it's now 3rd and goal at the 9, and the Bears look for the pass. Big play, 14-7 New England. Grogan looking toward the end zone. Instead goes short, and Ivory doesn't make it. Out of bounds at the 4-yard line. Now they'll get another chance at the field goal.
Well, and of course, the Bears will get another chance to block it.
And Tampa Bay falls behind 35-7. That game is at Tampa Bay. Mike Strawn has just run for a touchdown for New Orleans. So John Smith, who hit the upright the last time, then the penalty. New England went for 7. He gets a second opportunity. This is not much more than an extra point. And by the way, an extra point, Smith has a current active record, 58 in a row. It's only 21 yards away. And it's good. Now the Bears certainly made New England earn that 3, but Smith consistent. Hits them both, 1 counts, and we have a timeout. 8:49 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Patriots 17, the Bears 7.
Dodge announces the truck and van
Features on NFL 79 next Sunday at 12:30 will be a Steve Grogan special, and then Miami and New England could well be fighting for first place in the AFC East. Most of the country will see that one. Others will see Oakland, New York, as you saw the lineup. And the second half of the doubleheader, most of you will see San Diego and Los Angeles at the Coliseum. Merlin and I will be there. Houston, Seattle, the other late game. A big, big NFL doubleheader on NBC next Sunday.
A lot of great football.
John Smith kicks it off.
Short.
Walterscheid, you heard him yell out, you. Ricky Watts, the rookie, at 20 to 25, hurdled out to the 30, and out of bounds at the 32-yard line. You could hear Walterscheid as he said, you, meaning I can't get to that ball, and the rookie Watts from Tulsa returned it to the 32. Check the scoreboard. Well, Pittsburgh, perhaps too late. 4th quarter, 7.5 minutes left, scores its first touchdown. Bradshaw to Stallworth, 33-yard pass, but Cincinnati has a big lead.
Taking out all that frustration. Boy, they had a belly full of that in the early going this year.
Cincinnati hungry for a win and trying to get it against the world champion Steelers. Avellini, first down toss to Payton. Tripped over his own man out to the 33-yard line. Appeared that Robin Earl was a man that couldn't get around.
I think really the play made by number 40, though, Mike Haynes, very aggressively. I don't think anybody plays their corners closer to the line than New England. Haynes up very quickly, actually forced Payton to dip inside before he wanted to. Didn't give him any room to run. Payton had to cut before he wanted to and had to go across the heels of Robin Earl, as you said, and trip. But forced by the good defense of the New England Patriots.
First final, Miami has won, so New England needs a victory to stay tied for first in the East. On 2nd and 8. Big hole again for Earl to the 40, but a flag is down, thrown by the referee. And it's backfield in motion against the Bears. Well, every time they fake Payton wide and give it to Earl inside, he has a huge hole.
Well, you got to believe that there are a bunch of those New England Patriots saying, hey, if he's going outside, let's get there ahead of him, which is pretty hard to do.
Illegal motion, number 65.
Against the guard, Noah Jackson, 65. Meanwhile, at Baltimore, Houston has scored again.
There's a look at Jackson, number 65. Wanted to get over and cut off the linebacker. And, of course, in stepping too quick, nullified what was a very fine gain.
So it is now 2nd and 13 for the Bears. Ball back at their 29-yard line. Houston 21, Baltimore 6. Earl Campbell has scored his second touchdown, a 20-yard run. Rod Schote, 56, valuable linebacker, goes out.
4-man rush coming here.
Avellini to throw. Dumps it out to Latta, and the tight end is tackled immediately at the 35, and we have another penalty down. Now Latta, the tight end, as you see, wears glasses while playing. Came to the Bears from the World Football League with Jack Pardee when Pardee moved here. Holding the call against Chicago, so that short gain will be called back. Bears trailing 17-7, and penalties have figured prominently in the last two quarters. Hurt New England. Kind of took the momentum away as they were penalized heavily in the second quarter.
Number 70 offense, holding, second down.
Dennis Lick, the right tackle, guilty of the hold. Referee Gene Barth with a call. At New York, 49ers have scored a couple of touchdowns to make it tighter on the Giants. It's now 29-16. 10.5 minutes left. DeBerg has hit Schumann and Solomon for touchdowns. Second and 22 for the Bears. Avellini on a draw to Payton, and Richard Bishop, 64, said, "Oh, no, you don't." Other than that, and Payton get him into the secondary and let him use his elusiveness, but Bishop just didn't get him, let him get off to that fast start.
Well, you're really in trouble when you've got a second that long. You don't have that many options anyway. They were trying to hit him with a little bit of a surprise. The Patriots had line stunts called on both sides, which are a perfect call. They fell right into it. Perfect call against the draw because you try and let the people get upfield, so you let them get by you. When you have a stunt like that, that throws two defensive ends right into the ball carrier. They killed him in the backfield. Going to be third and about 23.
Long yardage facing Avellini with less than 7 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
Too much time.
And that's always the insulting penalty. Even the fans say we can count to 30 seconds.
Well, and not all of the problem is Avellini's. The plays are coming in from the sideline, and he is at the mercy of that call from the sideline. He can only wait until that comes in and then hurry up from there. He may have taken a little bit of extra time, but that's one of the weaknesses of calling the plays from the sideline.
Well, then, too, on his behalf, Merlin, you get the play from the sidelines. Now, see, already 15 seconds approximately gone. Then you get up the line of scrimmage and look at the defense. You're trying to call maybe an audible, and you don't have time for it.
Well, I wonder if they got a play for third and 29. That's just like the situation Grogan faced a while ago.
Yeah, he's going to throw. And incomplete to Robin Earl in the left flat. He's lucky to get it off.
Tremendous pressure put on him there. That's what we used to call a jailbreak. 3 or 4 people all turned loose in there. Avellini, lucky to get out of there with his life.
If they throw him for a loss too far out of the stadium, that'll be Avellini.
Avellini.
In the fourth quarter, 3 minutes left. New Orleans now leads 42-7. Strawn has scored again for the Saints. Now Parsons will kick from around his own 2-yard line. Morgan back at his 45. 10 men on the line of scrimmage.
They're coming.
Gets it away. High wobbly kick, fair catch. Morgan. New England will put it at play right at midfield. 38-yard punt. 6 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The Patriots have the only score of this third quarter, a field goal. They have the ball again and lead here in Chicago, 17-7. Bears fan in the news of late, they're all wondering who's she going to support in an upcoming Democratic situation. A reminder tonight on NBC. On Wonderful World Disney, Baseball Fever includes that great cartoon, Casey at the Bat. Miracle Worker tonight, Patty Duke Austin, Melissa Gilbert, and then primetime Sunday, Tom Snyder. Big night on NBC this evening. Patriots ball, midfield, leading 17-7. Here comes the reverse to Stanley Morgan. At the 50, 45, good running to the 43, and a gain of 7.
Interesting call to come back out. Patriots obviously wanted to get the big break on that one. They ran a misdirection play. Play opened up briefly, and Morgan with that great speed for a second looked like he might get it all the way, but some good recovery in the defensive secondary.
Third time they've called this play, Merlin. Morgan has made 20 yards the first 2 times. Grogan, a good job hiding the ball on his hip. It really melded in with those red pants. I wonder if they went to the red pants for that reason.
Well, I don't think so, but it certainly helps.
2nd and 3 from the 43. It's Ivory. Down short of the first down at the 41, and they stole the ball, but after he was down, Gary Campbell came up with a pumpkin.
Be another 3rd and short. Bears have had a lot of this 3rd and short during the day. And of course, again, as we said, Grogan really has the option. If he can consistently make yardage and get into a situation where he has the option at first. That's Gino Capoletti sitting with Tim Fox, number 48. Capoletti, one of the great kickers in the past history of the AFL, and now a coach, a special teams coach for the Boston Patriots.
3rd and 1. It's Calhoun.
No, did not make it.
He's short of that 40-yard line. And again, the Bears show they are a strong team versus the run.
Very aggressive play by the Bears on defense. Good line surge, but the Bears were equal to it. Over on the right side, Hartenstein and Alan Page doing an excellent job. Actually, Rydalch in there in place of Page. Page is not the biggest tackle in the world, playing at about 220.
Grogan, you'd see how he reacted. He was hoping he could influence the decision by going back in the huddle on 4th and inches, but Earhart said no, leading 17-7. Don't give the Bears a chance to stop us and pick up some quick momentum. Hare, oh, did he hit that one? That lands out of the end zone. Straight down the middle, so first down on the touchback at the 20-yard line. The net on that one is 20 yards. Never could quite understand why not even try to go toward the sidelines. But I guess there after the low snap, he just wanted to be sure he got it off.
Well, he drilled it. And you know what happens a lot of times? The kicker thinks he's just going to pooch it. Hits it easy, and whap, away it goes.
Just like off the tee, you don't try so hard, you seem to hit it farther. New England still leads 17-7. Coming up Saturday on NBC Sports World, live from Pretoria, South Africa, the WBA World Heavyweight Championship bout between undefeated knockout specialist Big John Tate of the USA, undefeated Harry Coetzee, the man who beat Leon Spinks. Time permitting, you'll also see the premiere of the Legends of Bowling, plus celebrity poker with people like Don Adams and Franco Harris. Blockbuster lineup Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern on Sports World. Bears ball trailing 17-7 late in the 3rd quarter here in Chicago. Avellini to throw and has some time. Now he's in trouble. Mel Lunsford eats him up back at the 10-yard line. 3rd sack for the Patriots. They now have 28 for the year.
That's the very kind of play that a man with the mobility of a Steve Grogan can turn from a great disaster, really, into a possible big gainer. Avellini rolling out, little play action right there. Looking for a receiver, cannot find anyone. Decides he's going to run, but can't get away from Mel Lunsford, who just crunches him. Rod Schote, 56, coming in from the outside, really taking away his only escape route.
Neil Armstrong obviously soured by that first down loss of 10. 2nd and 20. Bears have played this 3rd quarter in the shadow of the goalpost. Flanker screen to Scott. Gets a block, 15, breaks a tackle, and skips out of bounds at about the 20-yard line. Good block by Ted Albrecht, number 64 in that screen. Julius Adams made the tackle. Final score, New Orleans beats Tampa Bay 42-14. Mike Ray hit Jimmy Childs, 21-yard touchdown for Tampa Bay in the final minute. So New Orleans with a big win, and Tampa Bay, a great defensive team, blown out at home by the Saints.
I believe that was Scott's first reception on the day, and one of the things that they have tried to do is to take away Scott and Peyton, and they've done a pretty good job of it today.
3rd and 10. Avellini sets him up at his own 20. Complete, but short of the first down is Dave Williams, the man who scored the touchdown on the long pass and run in the 2nd quarter. So the kicking team comes on for the Bears. Had a most interesting, whoop, is there a flag down? No, there is not. Interesting experience, Merlin, this week. On Thursday night, we were down in Raleigh, North Carolina for, I know you're very much involved in the MS drive out in Los Angeles. And they roasted Al McGuire and Billy Packer. And were there some lines. That was a marvelous evening for charity, and some thousand people really enjoyed it. Now the folks down there in North Carolina treated us richly. Stanley Morgan on the run at the 33, the 40, and out of bounds at the 45, so that's a difference. The Bears start at their 20 or less, and New England basically opening a drive at midfield. A flag is down.
Few emotions flaring earlier as Reeby Sorty, 69 of the Bears, had come down and thrown a late block on that last play. Some of the New England Patriot players a little upset. You see it right here, Sorty number 69, right?
That's not a block. That's not just a block.
That's Rod Schote. One of the first lessons you learn in this game, don't stand around a pile. There it was. That's a kiss. Watch it. Oh, my.
Well, Rod Schott has requested a commercial. It's 3:06 remaining in the third quarter. 17-7, New England. The Sears Tower, 110-story giant, downtown Chicago. Soldier Field, the scene, with 3:06 left, third quarter. The Patriots with the lead in the ball, 17-7. A couple of yards out to the 47, their own 47. There's the final. Cincinnati's first win comes against the Super Bowl champion Steelers, 34-10 for Homer Rice's Bengals. They finally got the first one, and how sweet it is when you beat such a fine team. Say next Sunday, kick off a big day of football action. NFL 79 takes a look at life on the inactive list through the eyes of injured receiver Billy Brooks of Cincinnati. Then it's a dynamite NFL doubleheader. Most of the country will see the big AFC East shootout between these New England Patriots, Miami Dolphins, then it's the Chargers and the Rams from Los Angeles. Great throw to Horace Ivory. He's inside the 40 and down at the 37 of the Bears as Grogan hit his man on the dead run.
Excellent pass by Steve Grogan. And again, we see the flexibility of this New England offense. The capability of throwing not only to the fine wide receivers, the tight end across the middle, but here, looking down, not finding any of the receivers open. Little drop over toward the sideline to Horace Ivory. He's got his man beat, one-on-one with a linebacker. That's 51, Bruce Herron. And there's just simply a mismatch right there. Too much speed on too little speed.
Wentford gains 36, required to finally make the stop. Russ Francis shifts out a couple of feet, and that's Calhoun trying to go inside a block to the 35-yard line. We pause briefly for station identification. The score here in Chicago, 17-7 New England. This is the NBC television network.
WMAQ-TV, Chicago.
Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. Third quarter, a minute and a half remaining here in Chicago, where the New England Patriots, who had an early 14-0 lead, Bears scored in the second quarter. Patriots with a field goal here in the third quarter. And New England has the ball at the 35 of Chicago, second down and 8. Steve Grogan, a big day pitching, 16 of 24 for 200 yards. Fires, intercepted! Doug Buffone has his second interception today. How do you do?
Grogan trying to hook up with number 29, Harold Jackson. Instead, finds Doug Buffone getting a start at middle linebacker and using that speed of his to zip right in across. Ball badly thrown. It looked like Jackson wouldn't have had a shot at it. Buffone did. Watch the enthusiasm right here as he pops up. A little corralling by Jackson, but he is one happy football player right there. Okay, now offense, your turn to go to work.
And Walter Payton with a flag down is tackled at the 25-yard line. I believe we've got a illegal block against the Bears. So the turnovers are even. 2 interceptions now thrown by Grogan, along with his 2 touchdown passes. Holding against the Bears. So again, they start after the interception fairly deep in their own end, and immediately a penalty and drives them farther toward their own goal.
Well, again, we get another taste of the very conservative approach of the Bears, and you've got to wonder how long they're going to stay with that conservative philosophy. It really has not paid big dividends against this very tough running and defense of the New England Patriots.
To give you an idea of how run-oriented the Bears are, their starting tight end, Mike Cobb, has caught only 1 pass all year. Number 87, he's up on the right side. Scott and Bashnagel, the wide receivers. First and 20. Mike Phipps is warming up for the Bears. Avellini tosses complete to Bashnagel at the 29-yard line. He picks up about 16 of the 20 yards needed, and it'll be second down and a short 4. Raymond Claiborne on the stop. There's the veteran from Purdue, Mike Phipps, loosening up. As we told you, Vince Evans, who had won the starting job and had played brilliantly, is in a hospital trying to recover from a severe staph infection that has settled in his hip.
Certainly difficult, though, to throw the football in those third and very long situations. Defensive linemen teeing off, extra defensive backs, makes it awful hard.
Second and call it 3 at the 29. Avellini to Robin Earl, stopped at the 30, short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 2. And the Patriots trying to steal the football.
I see number 56, Rod Schott, He's the one that got leveled a little while ago by Reeve Sorty, and he is mad. He's still mad down there. He's popping people all over the place.
There's Schott from Oklahoma, a second-round pick at 75. No one likes it.
Oh, nobody likes to take a hit like that. And I guarantee you that on Monday, when they look at the films, they'll run that play perhaps 50 times.
That's the end of the third quarter here in Chicago, where the Patriots lead the Bears 17-7. Sick stomach, he used to take cod liver oil or something like that. 61 Sam Adams has been bothered all week.
His nickname is Sardines. And somebody said, maybe you got some bad sardines, Sam.
Well, that's enough to make you sick. All right, Bob Avellini trying to make the Bears healthy. They're down 17-7. We open the fourth quarter. 3rd and 2 at the 30, and that's Robin Earl in motion. Oh my, Dave Williams had no chance. Number 50, Sam Buddha Hunt shot through and nailed Williams for a 3-yard loss.
Hunt was in there, and Raymond Claiborne, number 26, right, just flying through there. Hunt gets the first shot. Claiborne coming in. The blitz, so effective against the pass. In this case, just unbelievably effective against the run. That's a 250-pound linebacker and a defensive cornerback in there for the first hits.
Bob Parsons, former Penn State quarterback, hits a knuckler out to Morgan at the 35. This side to the 40, 45, and a clever run across the 50 to the 47-yard line of the Chicago Bears. Stanley the Steamer Morgan from the University of Tennessee. 38-yard punt and 18-yard return. Timeout just into the fourth quarter in Chicago. New England has the ball again, leading by 10. Up for the Monsters of the Midway. Soldier Field in Chicago. Beautiful day here in the Midwest. That's a great shot from the Channel 5 telecopter, WMAQ, NBC station here in Chicago. Thank you, gentlemen, for those artistic shots. Grogan on first down. Dumps it to Calhoun at the 50, the 45, 40. Calhoun inside the 35-yard line. A New England first down. So Calhoun takes that little swing right. And New England marches deeper into Bear territory with a 17-7 lead. Clock will start to become more and more important. 13 minutes and 45 seconds left.
The wind kicking up on the bay, but Bears not getting a second wind here, and New England doing an extremely fine job of controlling the football.
Russ Francis gets the pass and ridden out of bounds by Gary Fensick at the 27-yard line. That'll be good for another 7 or 8 yards. So New England on the march with the lead, 17-7.
Again, Dick, I can't help but comment on the fact that they have so much to work for.
Second down and 3 for New England. Soldier Field, Chicago. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. The New England Patriots leading all the way have a 17-7 lead against the Chicago Bears. Patriots with a 2nd and 3 at the 27 of Chicago. Don Calhoun blasts up the middle, and it appears he has the first down. Couple of fumbles early by Chicago in the first quarter, and the Patriots scored on a Grogan to Morgan pass, and then Grogan to Harold Jackson of 19 yards, led 14-0. The only Bear score in the second quarter. Bob Avellini 54 yards to Dave Williams to make it 14-7 at the half. 21-yard field goal by John Smith, the only score of the third quarter. We have 13 minutes left here in the final period.
Saw Ron Earhart, Jim Ringo on the sideline. Have to be pleased with the way the New England Patriots are controlling the football in this third quarter.
First down carry by Horace Ivory. He's outside. He's at the 10. He is in the end zone for a touchdown. Horace Ivory. Matching the number on his uniform. 23 yards for the score.
We talked earlier about the speed that Ivory reintroduces to this fine team. Breaking to the outside. He gets a little block there, but just uses his great acceleration down the sideline, dives into the end zone.
And it's not a touchdown, although one official signaled such. He was out of bounds at the 3. So no touchdown. It's first and goal at the 3 for New England.
Goal to go for New England. Ball at the 3.
I thought the official did signal touchdown, but apparently someone else on the sideline said he stepped out at the 2-yard line. 2.5. First and goal for New England. It remains 17-7.
Bears get a second shot to stop him here.
Oh, Grogan trying to surprise with a pass. Almost intercepted by Gary Fencing. Oh, that kid from Yale is everywhere.
Grogan's pass.
Going to take a look at it from the side, looking away. See if his foot touches the sideline. The official right on the sideline, number 3. You see the official right there? The official at the far end, going to call it.
We keep it going,
Continue on, guys, if we can. Whoops, can't do it. Well, anyway, one signaled touchdown, but the other one, watching the feet, knew that he'd hit the sideline, brought the ball back.
Second and goal at the 2.5. Ivory can't make it. Here's a Grogan there after the pass. He wants Ivory to get the touchdown that he almost scored, and the Bears are right there. Muckensturm, 58, spearheaded the charge, along with 59, Campbell, 99, Dan Hampton.
Going back to that first play, the missed pass to number 81, Francis. You see Ivory coming off there, apparently banged his knee, hopefully not the one he heard before. But I was looking at Hasselbeck. He was standing all alone in the end zone. And one of Grogan's problems, he likes a receiver. He goes to him first. And he did not see Hasselbeck standing all by himself saying, hey, nobody around me.
Nobody loves me. Third and goal at the 4. Pete Brock in motion. Grogan rolling. There he is. Francis, touchdown. All alone, the giant tight end, Russ Francis. Good humor man as well. Said, want to shake my hand? I'm all world.
Another quick look at it. They brought Pete Brock from the wing position in motion. Little play action fake. They must have picked somebody off there. Either that or they had a defensive mistake because Francis was all by himself.
Grogan's third touchdown throw goes to Francis. Mr. All-World says, hey, you want to meet a star? How do you do? He's a great guy.
Yes, he is.
John Smith to try the extra point. Matt Kavanaugh's hold. Right down the middle. Flag is down, and that's going to be against the Bears. Now, here's the case that we had earlier where they'll take the extra point and the penalty will be tacked on the ensuing kickoff, and Smith appears to be hurt.
And Smith is down with...
Personal foul, running into the kicker. We'll try again.
Why would you want to try again if the kick was good?
Well, they're not going to. They're just signaling good. Let's watch it. You see John Smith approaching the kick. Is that Page? That is. Alan Page coming from the inside, just diving. Ran into the kicker. They'll charge the penalty here on the kickoff. Probably be a 5-yard penalty.
But the Bears in trouble. 12 minutes left. They trail 24-7. Reminder, NFL 79 with all the scores and highlights with Brian and Mike after our game here from Soldier Field in Chicago. Those are the lovely Honey Bears for the Chicago Bears. And that line, Ted Albrecht, the starting left tackle from California for Chicago, he's formed the Teddy Bears, and I'd like to applaud his efforts there. We'll tell you about that in a moment. The wind blows it off the tee for John Smith after the 5-yard penalty. Albrecht has started a nice thing, a club at the Shriners Hospital for children here in Chicago called the Teddy Bear Club. And they have their own secret handshake, and he goes and talks with the kids, and it's kind of a follow-up from his days, the East-West Shrine game out in San Francisco. And it's a nice way of giving back. Spirals that one down and through the end zone. That was an unusual kick.
Now we're happy to see John Smith back there to kick that one. Certainly would not have wanted to see him hurt. He was knocked down pretty good by Alan Page on that extra point. With the extra yardage on the 5-yard tack on, put it out of the end zone. You hear the Bear fans expressing a little bit of displeasure with their offensive team.
Mike Phipps is the new quarterback. Phipps, number 15, is in for Bob Avellini. And the fans booing, they wanted the football after it was kicked into the crowd. Used to be you kept the ball.
Got expensive like everything else.
Phipps taking charge of the Bears, trailing 24-7 with 12 minutes left. Trying to throw on his first play, and he hits Robin Earl. And he's out to the 28-yard line for a gain of 8. Doug Bedoin, 27. Safety from Minnesota made the stop. Phipps from Purdue, a school that's produced Len Dawson to the NFL and to NBC. The young quarterback Herman, who's All-American potential there now. Led his team to victory yesterday. Came here to Chicago from the Cleveland Browns in 1977 for number 4 and a number 1 draft pick. He was second in the Heisman, balloting back in '69. Phipps, second down and 2. Walter Payton, no room anywhere. Outside, inside, and just could not find daylight. It'll be 3rd and 3. Sam Hunt, number 50, made the tackle. As you look at Neil Armstrong, he'll send in the play. It's called down to Armstrong, then he'll pass it on to Greg Latta, and Latta will take it to the huddle.
Let's look at the Buddha. He weighs about 260 pounds right now, always listed at about 245, but he hits Payton right head on, and then 59 Hawkins just comes in and finishes it off. But it's been a long afternoon for Walter Payton, and an afternoon he couldn't do much about. He has just been running constantly into those red and white jerseys.
Flirting with a delay of game penalty, and now Phipps is going to call time, or will they take the 5? Yeah, they had to call time. There was no way they're going to get the penalty or the play off, and there again, Merlin, by the time they make the decision in the press box, it goes through the head coach. He may want to change it, then he has to pass it on to the messenger, and it gets into the huddle too long a time.
Dick, it becomes especially difficult when a quarterback has not played that much, and Phipps has not played for quite a while.
So the timeout in Chicago, 10.5 minutes left in the 4th quarter. New England 24, Chicago 7. With Merlin Olsen and a great doubleheader next Sunday on NBC. Miami and New England, probably for first place in the East, will be out in Los Angeles.
2 great football games. I know people around the country are going to tune in for a long afternoon of real football pleasure.
Starting with NFL 79 at 12:30. The Bears have the ball. Mike Phipps, the quarterback, 3rd down and 3. Scrambling for his life, and down he goes. Another sack for the Patriots. Their first of this half, 4 in the game. And now 29 for the year. Sugar Bear Ray Hamilton strapped up that right thigh and said, "I'll still get you."
Sugar Bear going with that bad pin, but you had tremendous pressure from all 4 defensive linemen. Ron Earhart greeting his defense as they come off the field to give him a little congratulation. Lunsford, number 72, 71, Sugar Bear Hamilton, 56, Rod Schote. They have played exceptional football today.
Morgan, solo safety, back at his 43. Parsons,
Yeah, it's low.
he scuffed one. Low line drive, fair catch at the 42. Steve Schubert right there to force Morgan into that fair catch, but the Patriots good field position, leading 24-7, 40 yards on the kick. 10 minutes left, 4th quarter. Fans here in Chicago feeling as if it's too big a lead for New England. Back in Chicago, 10 minutes left, the Patriots with the ball. See, Dr. Bill Lenkaitis, his very valuable properties in those hands. Drogan's had a good day, and he's going long and has a man open. Westbrook, Don Westbrook, open downfield, but just a bit too long was Drogan on the throw.
For Westbrook.
Talking to Bill Lenkaitis before the game, Hannah was sitting there, and Hannah was talking about the 2 dislocated fingers, and Lenkaitis said, "Well, it's one thing for you to have those dislocated fingers, but Lenkaitis is a dentist. He said, if my fingers go out," he said, "there goes the practice." You see Grogan getting that pass away, as you said, overthrown, and he was very upset with himself about that.
Drogan 19 for 30 and 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions today, after he was replaced last week by Tom Owen. Drogan dumps it out to Calhoun, run the run, 40, 45, and finally wrapped up at the 47-yard line. Short of the first down, it'll be 3rd and about 5. Campbell and Plank in on the tackle. It's a quiet Bears bench at the moment.
Very quiet, and you know, you talked about the renovation of this Soldiers Field. When I played my first game here, it was a Chicago All-Star game, 1962. Instead of benches, they had trenches there. That you actually sat down in a trench. Very dangerous. Somebody get knocked off the sideline, go right down into the pit. We had several people hurt, as a matter of fact, in that game.
I understand Rod Schote has a shoulder injury and will not play anymore today. Drogan on 3rd and 5 to Alan Clark, complete for a first down. The rookie goes out of bounds at the 39. Look at the teammates on the sidelines. Pat Alan Clark, he's a very popular rookie, just a fearless athlete, a college player, a halfback. He threw the ball as well down at Northern Arizona.
These Patriots have been accused of not having the killer instinct, not being able to put their opponent away. They appear to have developed some here this afternoon. You see Alan Clark, they've turned the reserves loose. Grogan throwing to one of them right there, and he did a fine job of pulling that pass. It seemed like all of these running backs catch the football.
And Clark has his first NFL reception. So that was a happy moment for him. First down at the Bear 39. Calhoun. Boy, you can hear the pads a popping as he picks up about 6 down to the 32-yard line. When Grogan hit Clark for that first down, Merlin, that made 12 out of 17 third down conversions for the Patriots.
Well, those are tough numbers, and that's a tough defense. You know, almost 2 and flip-flop games back-to-back. Last week, the Bears defense only had 49 plays on the field. Well, today, they've been on the field almost all day. And, of course, that's the work of an offensive team that has controlled the football against them as they did against Buffalo last week.
Exactly what the Bears did not want to have happen. They wanted to run the ball, control the ball, keep it away from this powerful New England offense. Francis can't quite get there. Boy, it appeared that at that last step he was going to latch onto it. He didn't need much longer fingernails to have 6.
Well, Francis, you could see that, right? He wanted that football. Had broken free, had the opening. Fensick trying to cover him one-on-one, and he got the extra bit of room. That's the advantage, again, of having enough speed in that tight end. And Francis, the thing that makes Francis great, he has the ability to block and the size to block on those linebackers. He then has the great hands of the receiver and the ability to get deep. You see him beating Fensick deep right there.
Well, they were very worried about Francis, were the Bears, and had special defenses to try to stop him. But Grogan's had a good day. It's 3 touchdowns, not 2 for him. Alan Clark. And he's close to the first down. The rookie down to about the 28 before Alan Page could make the tackle. Talk a moment about Page, number 82 for the Bears, Merlin, because you can relate to this. Here's a man who played down at Notre Dame as a top draft pick, 260 or so. Now he's playing at 228. How much did you weigh when you broke in after that college all-star game with the Rams?
I admitted to about 280. I think I was about 290.
And you finished at what?
I worked down to where I was 260 my last year, Dick.
So is that just as you get older, you figure you have to be quicker?
Well, you can't carry the weight. The body takes a tremendous beating. And Alan Page, talking to him today, he said that he could feel the difference as he took the weight off. He gained more quickness. But he had a real problem with the coaches. Minnesota insisted that he put part of it back on. Alan, a very strong-willed player, said, no way. He said, I think it's important that I get my weight down. I want to play light. It's one of the reasons that he was turned loose, something that he is still bitter about, his treatment by the Vikings at the end of a very illustrious career there. And he said that's something he would never forgive them for. But he's been a great leader here in Chicago.
At the build of a wide receiver, long and lean.
He really does. And we talked about the graybeard. Well, he's certainly been a valuable addition to this Chicago Bear team.
From the 24, 2nd and 6. Grogan to throw. And almost a touchdown. A leaping try by Ray Jarvis, number 87, just into the game. He's from Norfolk State. So Grogan with a 24-7 lead, and this is his pattern. He never seems to have enough points.
Well, he wanted another 7 there. Jarvis came back to the Patriots. They cut him. He was the last cut of the receivers leaving training camp. And when Carlos Pennywell was hurt, came back and stepped in immediately. Has fine moves, an excellent football player. The Patriots, as we said, clearing the bench, giving some of their reserves a chance to play in this game.
And Lenkaitis at center. Brock and Adams at the guard. Hannon Jordan the tackle. Francis the tight end. Jarvis and Westbrook the wide receivers. Clark and Calhoun behind Grogan. 3rd and 6 from the 24 of the Bears. Blitz. And does Grogan get hit? And a flag is down at the 11-yard line, and that could be against the Bears. Terry Schmidt. It was thrown after Grogan was down.
Watching Grogan take that hit, I've got to ask the question, why is Grogan still in the ball game? You're up 24-7, 6:51. You've really played well defensively as well as offensively. You really don't want to take a chance with a very expensive piece of commodity like your quarterback. Watch the hit that Grogan takes here. You see Lenkaitis trying to come out an option on the outside. He opens some room inside. That's 59 Campbell just pouring in there and puts the meat right in the middle of Grogan's chest.
But there was offensive holding against 44 Terry Schmidt. And instead of the loss in the sack, it's an automatic first down after the 5-yard penalty. New England at the 19 of Chicago. Clock shows 6 minutes, 51 seconds remaining. New England ahead, 24-7. Miami has won. Here comes Clark. You know, he's built like a bigger Don Nottingham. There's not a lot to grab.
Well, and when you run with that kind of abandon, awfully hard to grab him. Dick, I was talking to the Chicago Bear defensive coach, Buddy Ryan, before the game, and he was describing this New England offense. And we'd said earlier that not too difficult for New England's defense to pick out what they had to stop. They had to stop the running of Peyton and the catching of Scott. But he said, what do you stop? You look at them, they got great receivers, they got great running backs, they got a quarterback that can run. They really are a tough offensive package to decide where to defense them.
Up the middle, Calhoun, and that hole closed in a hurry. Peyton has only 42 yards today, so if you stop Peyton, you stop the Bears. That's been the case for New England. Well, if New England wins, and they're less than 6 minutes from victory, this is how the standings will look tomorrow. Miami, New England tied. They play each other. That's the first game of the doubleheader on NBC next Sunday. Buffalo, then the Jets, and Baltimore. So Miami, New England, that'll be a great way to start football Sunday on NBC next Sunday. 3rd down and 7. Oh, look at this bootleg. It fooled him completely. 10, and down to the 6 goes Grogan.
Grogan calling his own plays. I think a little sigh of relief from Ron Earhart on the sideline as he sees Grogan get up all right. I don't think Earhart would have called that particular play.
Grogan with 125 yards rushing. He's the 3rd leading rusher for the Patriots coming in, and he has 23 today. It is now 1st and goal for New England inside the Bear 6.
Grogan, as you saw, he probably had called that one. Sometimes he'll call that kind of play without telling anyone in the huddle. In other words, he'll call the sweep and just fake the handoff and loop out of there all by himself.
That way no one tips the hand. That's Alan Clark being trapped and breaks out of the hold of Muckensturm and gets back to the 9-yard line where Dan Hampton, 99, made the tackle. Hampton has an interesting story, and I'm sure some of you have heard it a time or two, but maybe others of you had not. 6th grade, Hampton fell 45 feet out of a tree in which he was playing, broke his arm and 2 legs, was in a wheelchair for 6 months, so he didn't play sports. And in the 11th grade, he was playing a saxophone in the high school band when the coach saw this 230-pound kid and said, wouldn't you like to come out and just try to put on a helmet? Became a great star at Arkansas. Grogan, incomplete for Francis. Well, he certainly looks for that big number 81 almost every play.
Well, early in his career, Grogan was faulted for staying with his initial receiver far too long. He fixed on a guy, and he was going to get the ball there. Didn't matter what happened. It sometimes had to throw right through defenders to do it. Still has a tendency to gun the ball with that strong arm at times into a crowd, but has developed the ability to switch off to pick up the alternate receivers. And of course, with his ability to run, I don't know if there's a more dangerous quarterback in all of football. And again, I'd have to say when he's hot, because he does have some cold days. Steve Grogan.
3rd and goal at the 9-yard line. Oops. Pete Brock raised off his 3-point stance, and that'll cost the Patriots 5. Stay with us. NFL 79. NFL Report will bring you the scores and some interesting finals today. Well, as highlights, Mike Adamle, Brad Gumbel gathering that material for you. So stay tuned for NFL Report here on NBC. Chicago the scene for this contest, and the Patriots lead the Bears 24-7. New England trying to get more. It's 3rd and goal, 14-yard line. Westbrook 83 left, and Jarvis 87 to the top of your screen. Up the middle to Calhoun. Far short of the 1st down, gets it to about the 12. Jim Osborne, the veteran tackle from Southern University, made the stop. So John Smith going to come in for a field goal try as some of the folks starting to make their way toward the freeways here along the lake.
Some perhaps headed for those boats parked along the lake. Getting a little chilly. Imagine pretty soon they'll be pulling those out. Leaves falling here in Chicago.
Whistle, and timeout is called by whom? The Patriots? No, the Bears have called time with 3:36 left, and Smith about to try a field goal attempt.
Don't quite understand that, but would give us a chance to. We'd have to wonder how George Papa Bear Hallis viewing this one. Obviously, not tremendously happy with what's happened here in this game today. But what a great old man, and how much a part of the history of this game George Halas is.
84 years young is Mr. Halas. 40 years coached an NFL team, and of course was involved in the formation of what we now know as the National Football League. While we have a moment, speaking of the Bear heritage, I want to show you some numbers. These are the retired numbers of Chicago Bears players of the past, and I think I'm kind of having a little quiz here for you, see how many of those you can relate to. We talk about some of the great players in the Chicago Bear organization. Number 3 has been retired.
Hello, number 3. I don't know, Dick.
Bronco Nagurski was number 3.
All right.
Number 5.
McAfee. George McAfee.
Oh, he was a great player.
Yeah,
28.
Yeah.
Willie Gallimore was 28. 41, you know.
I know, Gale Sayers.
No. 41. The late Brian Piccolo.
Okay.
40.
Sayers was 40, and I guess they did not retire Sayers.
No, they didn't. Nor Butkus. Smith's field goal is good, and the Patriots have 3 more and lead 27-7. We'll come back and give you the rest of those retired Bear numbers. We have 3:32 remaining in the game. 27-7. Those numbers we got right.
On NBC.
New England with a 27-7 lead at Soldier Field, Chicago over the Bears. Rest of the numbers: 41 was Brian Piccolo, 42 Sid Luckman, 56 another Hall of Famer Bill Hewitt. 61.
I know about 51.
No, 661 is the one. 51 is not retired. That's a mistake. It's 61.
Oh, 61. All right.
61. You played with him.
I played with Bill George, great middle linebacker, and what a fantastic football player he was.
66 was Bulldog Turner, and of course 77 Red Grange. The rookie Ricky Watts returns the kickoff to the 29-yard line, where the Bears, with 3 minutes and 22 seconds left, are in that unenviable position. Whether the rock hits the melon or the melon hits the rock, it's not good for the melon, and that's about where they stand, trailing by almost 3 touchdowns. Don't forget next Saturday, the big heavyweight championship fight from South Africa. 2 unbeaten fighters, John Tate of the U.S., Harry Coetzee from South Africa. 4 o'clock Eastern Time, live from Pretoria, South Africa. That'll be an interesting fight. And Coetzee, he can hammer. Great right hand. Mike Phipps under pressure.
Oh, my.
It's Greg Latta, 35-40, 45-50, and finally bumped out of bounds at the New England 46-yard line. Mark Washington, number 46 in the game for New England, bumped him out of bounds.
Talk about pressure. Tony McGee, they're running a stunt there. Tony McGee coming to the inside, absolutely running over people. Phipps throwing under tremendous pressure, puts it right on target. Good shot right there. He comes down the sideline. Latta takes the ball, picks up some fine yardage there before they finally drive him out. That's Rick Sanford, number 25, a first-round draft pick, putting him out of bounds.
First down at the 46. Bears Phipps replacing Bob Avellini. He's throwing for Scott, incomplete. Mark Washington doing a good job of shielding the ball from the receiver by leaping in front of him, and it went right through his hands. 3:09 left. Bears fell behind 14-0 in the first quarter. We got the long touchdown play from Avellini to Dave Williams, 54 yards in the second quarter. It was 14-7 at the half. Field goal by Smith in the third quarter, but here in the fourth period, a couple of New England touchdowns. Steve Grogan's club all but solding it away. It would be 5-2 New England. Miami already 5-2.
See the obvious contentment from Steve Grogan as he rides that very comfortable 20-point lead into the final moments of this game.
2nd and 10. Screen. Incomplete. In fact, went right through the hands of Noah Jackson, 65. Jackson instinctively started to catch it, said, wait a minute.
You can't do that. That's shot right here. They're turning loose these defensive linemen, and boy, I don't know whether I'd want to do that this late in the game because they're just leaned out. You see Julius Adams, 85, right there on top of him, and of course the offensive lineman not allowed to touch that football.
That's an eligible receiver. Loss of down and a -10. That's the toughest of the penalties. There's Darryl Stingley and Steve Grogan, men that collaborated. And of course, Russ Francis and the true affection that these New England Patriots have for their now handicapped Wide receiver Stingley, injured in that game in Oakland a year ago. Marvelous man. Now lives here in Chicago and seeing his team for the second time. Of course, he was out in Foxborough for the opener, that Monday night game against Pittsburgh. This is the second time he's seen him in person.
He's got to be much happier with the outcome of this game. That, of course, a game that was not a very happy, did not have a happy ending for the New England Patriots.
There was a nice moment when Stanley Morgan, who caught the first touchdown pass of the game, ran off the field and handed the ball to Darryl Stingley, almost as if to say, gee, I wish that would have been you and not me. Phipps to Latta. Get immediately at the 47 by Mike Haynes, number 40.
Well, the ball was out of bounds, dropped right in front of Haynes, and he dropped on the football. We talked a little bit earlier about the talent of this New England team. When they run 5 defensive backs, and we won't see it right now because they have Tim Fox out of the game, Doug Bedoin in, but they can have 4 number-1 draft picks in that defensive backfield at the same time. I can never remember another team drafting that kind of talent for a defensive backfield. There you see Fox. He's one of the number ones right there. What a great hitter he is.
You're absolutely right, because in the old days, defensive backs, you drafted all your other people, and you could always find a defensive back, was the attitude of many of the scouting.
They were a dime a dozen, or at least that was how they were considered. Oh, wow.
What an unkind turn. You'll turn away from pressure, and you run right into Julius Adams, 85. 5 sacks for the Patriots. They started today 1 behind Houston for the NFL lead.
Oh, and you watch him right here. Phipps is going to get it from the blind side. He just turns around and, hello. Julius Adams has had a very big day. I think that's either his 2nd or 3rd sack of the day. And certainly the Patriots really enjoy having him back into form. Missed the entire year last year with a knee problem.
That was a 4th down play, so the ball goes to the New England Patriots at the Chicago 42-yard line. Well, this is going to set things up. Tom Owen, 17, comes in, replacing Steve Grogan. That'll be a most interesting game next Sunday. That'll start our NBC NFL doubleheader. Miami, New England, both 5-2, battle for first place. Owen, who helped his team to that come-from-behind win against the Lions, came in the 3rd quarter last week. Gives to Alan Clark. Clark burrowing through Walderscheid to the 40-yard line, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. That signal now being given. 2 minutes remaining in this game in Chicago, where the New England Patriots very impressively lead the Chicago Bears 27-7.
Bryant Gumbel in New York reporting to you that in San Diego, the Chargers have gone out in front of the Seahawks by a 7-0 count. Here's how it happened. Dan Faust looking into the end zone, finding a wide open Lydell Mitchell for the score. It's 7-0 San Diego. The Chargers started the day with a share of first place in the AFC West. They'll have it by morning with a victory. Let's go back to Chicago.
Thank you, Brian. So the Chargers take the early lead. Chicago. Big question, Merlin, is it a toddling town?
I didn't see much of this town, Dick. I can't give you a report.
You barely made it in from Canada in that fishing trip, huh?
Got fogged in. Lucky to be here for this one.
Looking forward to that salmon, though, next week now.
Yep.
Alan Clark. We're in the final 2 minutes of the game. Jim Osborne makes the tackle.
Might be appropriate, Dick, to talk about the Patriots having iced this one. How good a football team are the New England Patriots? And certainly one of the things you've seen with us today is the tremendous potential and the tremendous power that they've demonstrated, not only offensively but defensively and on special teams. It's been just an overpowering day for the Patriots. But they have not played that way consistently through the year. They've had some very lackluster days, and they've had some very down days. You've got to wonder if they are a team that can make it through those one-game seasons, those playoffs, where every game must be won or you simply do not survive.
Well, next week will be like a test for the postseason, because they'll be playing a quality club, the Miami Dolphins, and that'll be the halfway mark of the year, the 8th week of the season. Our thanks to Ken Fouts, our director, David Stern, our producer in Chicago Today, and our spotters Terry Kane and Gil Haggard. Nice job, gentlemen. Joe Costanza working the pencil on the statistics, and the countdown into the final minute. 27-7 New England. 4th down coming up. The Bears apparently aren't even going to call time and try to muster something.
Well, it's got to be a frustrating day for them. They have not played well offensively. Their big weapon, Walter Payton, taken away from them by the New England Patriots. Avellini very inconsistent with his passing game early. Certainly part of that attributable to the fine defensive performance of the Patriots, but he just wasn't able to do much with it.
Now Peyton Merlin, he has 4 rushing games of 125 yards or more, interestingly, and 3 under 50, including today, 42 yards. And those 3 games under 50 were against Miami, Tampa Bay, and New England, all of them 3-4 teams. You have to wonder if that isn't the way to try to stop Peyton with all of his maneuverability and power.
Well, certainly difficult to run against a 3-4 defense that has great linebackers who are mobile. And I don't think well, perhaps with the exception of Denver, there's not a team in football that has a better set of linebackers than these Patriots.
Here's punt, almost blocked, but he gets it down inside the 10.
Alan Clark, look at that.
Clark. And he batted it back, and it'll be ruled dead back to the 5-yard line.
Alan Clark again with just a great defensive play. Ball bouncing high in the air, looked like it was going to go into the end zone.
Bill
Clark
Matthews,
jumped up, bounded
53.
it back. Yeah, Bill Matthews, young rookie, playing very well. Excellent job by Clark, though. Had he not gone up, that ball would have gone into the end zone.
Well, it's a valuable addition. 19 seconds left. Soldier Field crowd, a sellout of nearly 58,000. Go home disappointed. Bears will be 3-4. Had a chance to move up on Tampa Bay as the Buccaneers lost, and it appears that with defeat pinching the teams in the Central Division, that really no one loses any ground, and that particular fight is very much up for grabs.
Well, and I think that's maybe the high point of the day for the Bears, that they did not lose any ground in this race, because it certainly has not been a productive football day for the Chicago Bears.
Dave Williams sprints through and gets out to about the 12-yard line. That could be the last play of the game. The Bears did not call timeout when New England had the football, and they're not going to call timeout now. That's almost knuckling under, saying uncle, and the fans don't like it.
Well, there aren't many of them left. They saw the writing on the wall and began to leave early. But as we said, not their kind of day.
So the final score here at Soldier Field, Chicago, the New England Patriots, their 5th win in 7 contests for Ron Earhart's club. They defeat the Chicago Bears 27-7. New England now 5-2. The Bears drop to 3 wins and 4 losses, and that sets up things for the match against the Miami Dolphins next Sunday for first place in the AFC East.
And if nothing else, New England has demonstrated again today, if you're going to beat them defensively, you've got to be able to throw the football. You cannot do it on the ground. And the other thing they've showed us is the tremendous power they have offensively. It will be interesting to see if they can keep their momentum and their consistency together for the rest of the season.
And as you pointed out, when Grogan is good, there perhaps is no better quarterback in the National Football League. And all the Patriot coaches and fans can hope for is that he remains the excellent player that he was today. So for Merlin Olsen, Dick Enberg, thank you for being with us from Chicago's Soldier Field. Executive producer of NBC's football is Don Ohlmeyer. Coordinating producer, Ted Nathanson. Telecast of today's game has been produced by David Stern, directed by Ken Fouts. The associate producer, Terry Ebert, technical director Arnold Rand, and associate director Richard Klein. Sorry, gentlemen. Next Saturday on Sports World, the WBA Heavyweight Championship fight live from South Africa between undefeated John Tate and unbeaten Harry Coetzee. That begins at 4 o'clock Eastern. And now stay tuned for the Budweiser NFL Report. All the scores and highlights of today's NFL games right after these messages from your local stations.
Brian Gumbel along with Mike.